Sometimes Allah does not speak to us through words. Sometimes He speaks through feelings, blocked paths, sudden discomfort, and signs that disturb our peace. Islam teaches us that Allah guides His servants in many ways, and among those ways are subtle reminders placed in our environment. Animals are part of Allah's creation, and the Quran reminds us that every creature glorifies Him in a way we may not understand. When certain animals repeatedly appear during moments of confusion, discomfort, or emotional heaviness, they are not omens, but reminders. They do not predict the future, but they awaken the heart. They signal that something is wrong, that a place, a connection, or a situation no longer carries barakah. This video is not about superstition. It is about awareness, reflection, and recognizing when Allah is gently telling you to move on before harm settles into your soul. 1. The crow, a sign of emotional decay and spiritual disturbance. In Islamic tradition, the crow is not just another bird that passes by unnoticed. It carries a deep lesson that Allah Himself placed in the Quran. In the story of the sons of Prophet Adam alayhis salam, when one brother committed a terrible wrongdoing and did not know how to deal with the consequences of his actions, Allah sent a crow to scratch the earth and show him how to bury the dead. This moment is powerful because it shows that Allah uses His creation to teach lessons when the human heart becomes blind to truth. The crow, in this context, became a symbol of exposure, accountability, and the reality that actions always carry consequences, even when we try to ignore them. When crows repeatedly appear around a certain place, home, workplace, or during interactions with specific people, especially when your heart already feels uneasy, it is not something to fear, but something to reflect on. Islam teaches us that Allah speaks to the believer through signs that awaken awareness. If every time you enter a place or meet someone your chest feels tight, your thoughts become restless, your emotions feel heavy, and your peace quietly disappears, the repeated presence of the crow may serve as a reminder that something there is spiritually unhealthy for you. It does not mean that people are cursed or the place is evil, but it may mean that barakah has left, sincerity is gone, or truth is being buried under false appearances. The crow does not bring harm by itself. It reveals what is already decaying beneath the surface. Allah may be allowing you to notice what you have been tolerating for too long. Sometimes we stay in places where we are disrespected, misunderstood, or spiritually weakened because we hope things will change. We convince ourselves to be patient even when patience has turned into silent self-destruction. The crow's presence can act like a mirror, forcing you to look honestly at your situation. Ask yourself why your heart feels heavier instead of lighter, why your iman feels weaker instead of stronger, and why your peace slowly disappears after every interaction. A place where your faith declines, where you struggle to remember Allah, where your character is tested negatively instead of refined, is not a place meant to keep you for long. Allah never asks His servants to remain where their soul is slowly dying. When the crow appears repeatedly during such phases, it can be a gentle warning that staying will slowly bury your inner peace, just as the crow buried the body in the earth. Allah may be telling you to leave before emotional decay becomes permanent, before spiritual disturbance turns into spiritual numbness. Recognizing this sign is not superstition, it is awareness guided by reflection and trust in Allah's wisdom. 2. The snake, a warning of hidden toxicity and silent harm. In Islam, the snake is not treated as a symbol of superstition or fear, but as a creature that represents hidden danger and silent threats. A snake does not announce itself loudly. It moves quietly, blends into its surroundings, and often strikes only when someone comes too close. This nature itself carries a lesson. Allah repeatedly warns in the Quran about dangers that are not always visible, about people and situations that appear calm on the surface but carry harm beneath. When snakes repeatedly appear around a certain place, home, or during a phase of your life where you already feel emotionally unsafe or spiritually disturbed, it can serve as a strong reminder to be cautious and alert. Sometimes Allah exposes danger not through dramatic events, but through unease in the heart. You may notice that in a certain environment, you constantly feel on edge, suspicious, or emotionally guarded. You may feel that you cannot relax, trust fully, or be yourself. This inner discomfort is not weakness, it is awareness. The repeated presence of a snake during such moments can symbolize that something around you is toxic, even if it is carefully hidden. It may be a person who speaks kindly but harbors jealousy, a relationship built on control rather than care, or a situation that slowly poisons your peace while pretending to offer stability. The snake reminds us that not all harm comes loudly. Some harm grows quietly while you keep making excuses for it. Allah may be warning you that staying in that place or with that person will eventually lead to a strike, not necessarily physical, but emotional, spiritual, or moral. Many people ignore these signs because the danger has not fully revealed itself yet. They say, "Nothing bad has happened so far," without realizing that the harm is still forming. Islam teaches us wisdom before damage, not regret after pain. When Allah wants to protect you, He often creates distance before destruction. The snake's appearance can be a nudge from Allah to stop trusting blindly and start observing honestly. Ask yourself why you feel the need to protect your heart in that environment, why your intuition keeps warning you, and why peace feels absent. Leaving at this stage is not cowardice, it is intelligence guided by faith. Allah does not want His servant to wait for the bite to believe the warning. Recognizing the sign early is mercy, and walking away is often how Allah saves you from a harm you were never meant to experience. 3. The dog, a sign of unwelcome energy and loss of peace. In Islam, the dog is not viewed as an evil creature, but its presence carries specific spiritual lessons. The Prophet ﷺ taught us that angels do not enter a home where a dog is kept without necessity, and this teaching reminds us that the spiritual atmosphere of a place matters deeply. When dogs appear aggressively, bark excessively at you without clear reason, block your path, or repeatedly show up during moments when you are already confused, emotionally drained, or spiritually unsettled, it can reflect disturbance rather than danger. Allah sometimes uses the behavior of animals to reflect the unseen state of an environment. If every time you go to a certain place or meet certain people you feel tense, guarded, or uneasy, this feeling should not be ignored. A heart that is constantly alert is not at peace. The repeated presence of hostile or restless dogs in such moments can symbolize that your presence is not aligned with that environment. Even if people smile at you, their hearts may not be open. Even if words sound kind, the energy feels defensive. Islam teaches us that Allah places tranquility where He wills and removes it where staying will harm His servant. Dogs are territorial by nature. They bark when something unfamiliar enters their space. When you constantly feel resisted, judged, or subtly pushed away in a certain environment, Allah may be showing you that you do not belong there anymore. You may be trying to fit into a space that no longer supports your growth, your faith, or your emotional well-being. This does not mean you are unwanted as a person, but that Allah has something better prepared elsewhere. Staying where you must always defend yourself drains the soul and hardens the heart. Allah never asks His servant to live without peace. When dogs repeatedly block your path, create fear, or disturb your calm during moments of decision, it may be a sign that Allah is protecting you from settling where barakah has been removed. Leaving such a place is not failure. It is obedience to the quiet guidance of Allah. A place where your heart cannot rest, where your iman feels strained, and where you feel spiritually unwelcome is not a place meant to shape your future. Sometimes Allah closes hearts around you, so you do not mistakenly make them your home. 4. The owl, a reminder of emotional isolation and spiritual emptiness. In many cultures, the owl is associated with silence, darkness, and solitude. But in Islam, we do not treat animals as omens. Instead, we reflect on the lessons Allah places within His creation. The owl is a creature of the night. It appears when most of the world is asleep, when noise fades and silence dominates. This nature itself carries a message. When owls repeatedly appear during a phase of your life where you already feel emotionally disconnected, lonely, or spiritually empty, it can act as a deep reminder from Allah to look honestly at your inner state and your surroundings. Sometimes Allah does not warn us through pain alone, but through emptiness. You may find yourself surrounded by people, yet feel completely alone. Conversations may happen, but they feel hollow. Laughter exists, but it does not reach your heart. You may notice that after spending time in a certain place or with certain people, you feel drained rather than fulfilled, quiet rather than peaceful. This kind of loneliness is more dangerous than physical isolation because it slowly numbs the soul. The owl's presence during such moments can symbolize that emotional warmth has left that environment, even if everything appears normal on the surface. Allah created the human heart with the need for connection, sincerity, and meaning. When a place or relationship no longer provides these, the heart begins to feel heavy and distant. The owl, appearing repeatedly at night or during moments of reflection, can mirror this inner darkness. It is not there to scare you, but to make you aware. Allah may be showing you that you are staying in a space where your emotional and spiritual needs are no longer met. Remaining there out of habit, fear, or attachment will only deepen the emptiness. There are times when Allah removes noise from your life so you can finally hear the truth. The owl thrives in silence, and its presence may be a sign that Allah is calling you to pause and reflect. Ask yourself why your heart feels lonely in that place. Ask yourself why your iman feels stagnant, why your du'as feel heavy, and why your connection with Allah weakens instead of strengthens. These are not random feelings. Islam teaches us that the heart recognizes truth before the mind accepts it. Many people mistake endurance for loyalty. They believe staying in emotional isolation proves strength. But Islam does not teach us to suffer without purpose. The Prophet ﷺ sought companionship that uplifted faith, not environments that drained it. If a place or relationship consistently leaves you feeling unseen, unheard, and emotionally abandoned, Allah may be urging you to leave before isolation turns into despair. The owl's repeated presence can serve as a quiet sign that something has ended, even if you are not ready to admit it. Leaving does not mean you failed. Sometimes it means Allah has completed what that place or person was meant to teach you. When the lesson is over, staying only delays healing. Allah replaces what is empty with what is meaningful, but only after you make room. The owl reminds you that you are not meant to live in emotional darkness. You are meant to live in light, connection, and peace. When silence becomes suffocating instead of calming, it is often Allah telling you that it is time to move on. 5. The ant, a sign that you are being drained and quietly consumed. In Islam, the ant is a respected and honored creature. Allah mentions the ant in the Quran, teaching us a lesson about awareness, cooperation, and responsibility. When Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam heard the ant warning its community to move aside so they would not be harmed, it showed that even the smallest creatures possess wisdom placed within them by Allah. The ant represents effort, discipline, and service. But when ants appear excessively around a place or during a phase of your life where you already feel exhausted, undervalued, or emotionally depleted, their presence can carry a deeper reminder that should not be ignored. Ants do not destroy things suddenly. They take little by little, quietly and patiently. until what was once full becomes empty. This nature mirrors certain situations in life where harm does not come in the form of loud conflict or obvious abuse, but through slow emotional draining. You may be giving your time, energy, patience, loyalty, and emotional labor to a person, workplace, or environment that keeps taking without ever restoring you. At first, you may not notice the loss, but over time you feel weaker, more tired, and less motivated. Your spark fades, and your peace slowly disappears. Allah may be using the repeated presence of ants to reflect this unseen consumption. Many people stay in such situations because nothing dramatic has happened. There is no clear betrayal, no obvious cruelty, and no visible reason to leave. But Islam teaches us to pay attention to the state of the heart. If you feel constantly tired without a clear cause, if you feel emotionally dry, if your enthusiasm for life and worship decreases, something is taking from you more than it gives. Ants remind us that destruction does not always arrive violently. Sometimes it arrives quietly, politely, and patiently. Allah never created you to be used until there is nothing left. Giving is beautiful in Islam, but only when it is balanced with dignity and self-respect. The Prophet ﷺ warned against oppression, and being drained without care is a subtle form of it. When ants appear repeatedly in a place connected to stress, obligation, or emotional pressure, Allah may be showing you that your effort is being taken for granted. You may be serving people who do not see your sacrifice, staying loyal to systems that do not value your presence, or holding on to relationships that rely on your strength without caring for your well-being. The ant's presence can also be a reminder that you are carrying too much alone. Ants work collectively, yet you may feel like you are the only one giving, fixing, and holding everything together. This imbalance is not sustainable. Allah wants His servant to be strong, not emptied. If you collapse, those who benefited from you may simply move on while you are left to rebuild yourself in silence. Recognizing this sign early is mercy. Leaving such a situation is not selfish. It is an act of wisdom. Allah commands justice, and that includes justice toward yourself. When you step away from environments that quietly consume you, Allah often replaces them with spaces where your effort is respected, your energy is restored, and your presence is valued. The ant reminds you that even the smallest losses, when repeated, can lead to complete exhaustion. Allah may be telling you to leave before there is nothing left to protect. 6. The cat, a final nudge towards self-respect, independence, and dignity. In Islam, the cat holds a unique and honorable place. The Prophet ﷺ showed kindness and mercy toward cats, and they are known for their cleanliness, awareness, and calm independence. Unlike many creatures, the cat does not cling, beg, or remain where it is mistreated. It stays where it is respected and quietly leaves where it is not. This behavior itself carries a powerful lesson for the believer. When cats repeatedly appear during a phase of your life where you feel undervalued, emotionally neglected, or taken for granted, Allah may be gently reminding you of your own dignity and self-worth. Many people remain in places or relationships not because they are healthy, but because they fear being alone. They tolerate disrespect, emotional coldness, and neglect, believing patience means staying silent, no matter the cost. Islam teaches patience, but it never teaches humiliation. When a cat appears repeatedly during moments when you are questioning your value, your role, or your place in someone's life, it can symbolize that Allah is encouraging you to reclaim your independence. Cats do not chase affection that is withheld. They do not explain their worth. They simply walk away with calm certainty. The cat's presence can be especially meaningful when you are emotionally attached to someone or something that no longer treats you with care. You may notice that you are the one always initiating, always forgiving, always understanding, while receiving very little in return. Over time, This imbalance weakens the heart and erodes self-respect. Allah does not want His servant to shrink themselves just to be accepted. The cat reminds you that love without respect is not love, and staying where you are emotionally ignored is not loyalty. It is self-abandonment. Cats also represent awareness of boundaries. They approach gently and withdraw quickly when crossed. When cats appear repeatedly around you during moments of emotional confusion, Allah may be teaching you the importance of limits. You are allowed to step back. You are allowed to protect your heart. You are allowed to leave situations that make you feel small, unseen, or unimportant. Walking away does not mean you lack compassion. It means you value the amana Allah placed within you, which is your soul. There is also a quiet confidence in the cat that reflects tawakkul. A cat does not panic about tomorrow. It trusts provision will come. Likewise, Allah may be telling you to stop holding on to people or places out of fear that nothing better exists. Rizq is not limited to money. It includes peace, companionship, respect, and emotional safety. When Allah removes you from one attachment, He is not emptying your life. He is preparing space for something purer. The cat does not leave in anger. It leaves in silence. This is an important lesson. You do not need to argue, explain, or prove why you deserve better. Strong faith does not announce its departure. It simply chooses peace. When cats repeatedly cross your path during times of emotional decision, Allah may be reminding you that strength is not loud, dignity is not dramatic, and self-respect does not require permission. Leaving when Allah nudges you is not rejection of others. It is acceptance of His guidance. The cat stands as a final reminder that you were created with honor. You were not created to beg for love, chase validation, or remain where your worth is questioned. When Allah wants you to leave a place or a person, He often teaches you how to walk away calmly, cleanly, and without bitterness. Like the cat, you are meant to move forward with quiet confidence, trusting that Allah always replaces what you leave for His sake with something better. Allah does not guide His servants only through words and events. He also guides through awareness, feelings, and subtle reminders placed in our daily lives. Every creature Allah has created exists with purpose, and each one reflects a lesson for those who are willing to reflect. These animals are not signs of superstition or fate, and they are not meant to create fear. They are reminders meant to awaken the heart when the mind is struggling to let go. Allah often shows us the truth long before we accept it, because He is merciful and does not want His servant to remain where harm slowly grows. If your peace disappears, your faith weakens, and your heart feels heavy in a certain place or with certain people, that is not something to ignore. Allah never asks you to stay where your soul is slowly being damaged. When signs repeat, when discomfort grows, and when clarity begins to replace confusion, it is often Allah protecting you from a future pain you cannot yet see. Leaving at the right time is not loss. It is mercy disguised as separation. Trust that Allah removes you from situations not to punish you, but to preserve you. What He takes away was never meant to define your future. What He prepares after obedience is always better, even if it takes time to understand. When Allah wants you to leave, He also gives you the strength to walk away. And when you walk away for His sake, He never leaves you empty-handed.